Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're diving into the subtle signals that she's losing interest in you. You think everything's going great, and then, bam, she hits you with the, "I need space" talk. We're going deep into the often missed signals that she's losing interest so you can navigate your relationships with confidence. First up, let's talk about communication, or rather, the lack of it. Women thrive on connection, on sharing their thoughts and feelings. So, if she's gone quiet, if her once frequent texts have dwindled to a trickle, it's time to pay attention. Don't make excuses for her, thinking she's just busy. Someone who genuinely cares will make the effort, even if it's just a quick "thinking of you" message. A consistent pattern of her going MIA, not initiating contact, or taking hours to respond. That's a red flag. In the beginning, every text, every phone call was exciting, right? If that spark is fading and you're always the one to reach out, it's a sign her investment might be dwindling. This isn't about playing games or keeping score. Communication is the lifeblood of any relationship, and if it's drying up, it's time to have an honest conversation. Next up, let's talk about the delicate dance of making plans and what it means when she starts avoiding them. Remember those early days when seeing each other felt like a top priority? When every moment together was cherished and eagerly anticipated? If that enthusiasm has waned, and she's suddenly become the queen of rain checks, we need to talk. It's a sign that something might be off. It's not just about canceling plans once or twice because something came up. Life happens, and that's understandable. It's about the frequency, the excuses, the lack of effort to reschedule. When it becomes a pattern, it's a red flag. Pay attention to her energy when you do try to make plans. Is she genuinely interested or just going through the motions? Is she hesitant, unenthusiastic, quick to offer alternatives that don't involve you? These are important cues. Actions speak louder than words. Her body language and behavior can tell you more than her words ever will. If her actions are screaming, "I'd rather be doing anything else," then you need to listen. It's a clear message. You deserve someone who's excited to be with you, who sees your time together as valuable and meaningful. If you find yourself constantly on the back burner, your invitations met with resistance, it's time to reevaluate her level of interest and your relationship. Now let's get physical, or rather let's talk about the lack of physicality. Physical touch, that electric spark when your hands brush, the comfort of a hug, the intimacy of a kiss. These are all crucial elements of a romantic connection. So when the physical affection starts to fade, it's a major red flag. Think back to the beginning of your relationship. Remember the way she'd instinctively reach for your hand, snuggle close on the couch? If that spark has dimmed, it's time to take notice. This isn't just about physical intimacy in the bedroom, although that's important too. It's about those everyday gestures of affection, the way she responds to your touch, the desire to be close. If you find yourself questioning her lack of physical touch, don't brush it off. It might be a sign that she's emotionally withdrawing. Okay, let's talk text, specifically the language of texting. In today's world, so much of our communication happens through those little messages on our screens. When you're excited about someone, you put effort into your messages, right? You use emojis, ask engaging questions, you're witty, you're charming. Now contrast that with the dreaded one-word replies, the lack of enthusiasm, the delayed responses that leave you hanging. It's like the digital equivalent of a cold shoulder. Pay attention to the tone of her messages. Has she gone from using terms of endearment to sounding like she's texting her accountant? Are her responses short and clipped, lacking the warmth and playfulness they used to have? Don't ignore the subtle cues in her texting style. They might just be the breadcrumbs leading you to a bigger conversation about the state of your relationship. Let's talk about priorities, specifically where you fall on her list. It's a tough subject, but an important one to address. We all have busy lives, juggling work, friends, family, hobbies, and of course, relationships. Each of these aspects demands our time and energy, but when you're genuinely invested in someone, they become a priority, not an afterthought. You make time for them, no matter how hectic life gets. So how can you tell if you're slipping down her list? It's not always obvious, but there are signs you can look out for. Start by paying attention to how she spends her time. Is she often too busy for you, even when she has free time? Does she consistently choose to hang out with other people, leaving you feeling like an option, not a priority? This can be a red flag. Does she make excuses for why she can't see you, even when you've made plans in advance? This pattern can be telling. Healthy relationships thrive on a balance of individual pursuits and shared experiences. Both partners should feel valued and included. But if you find yourself constantly on the periphery of her life, your needs and desires taking a backseat to everyone else's, it's time to have a serious conversation. Don't ignore these feelings. You deserve to be with someone who values your presence, who makes an effort to include you in their life, who sees you as a priority, not an afterthought. Remember, mutual respect and effort are key. Now let's talk about engagement, or rather, the lack of it. It's a crucial aspect of any relationship that often goes unnoticed until it's too late. You know those moments when you're with someone, but it feels like they're a million miles away? It's like their body is there, but their mind is somewhere else entirely. They're physically present, but mentally checked out? That, my friends, is a major red flag. It's a sign that something is amiss in the relationship. Think about how she is when you're having a conversation. Is she truly there with you, or is she just going through the motions? Does she seem genuinely interested in what you have to say? Does she lean in, nod, and show signs of active listening? Does she ask follow-up questions, engage in the discussion, her eyes sparkling with curiosity? Or is she just waiting for her turn to speak? Or does her gaze drift away? Her responses clipped and distracted, her body language screaming boredom? These are telltale signs of disinterest. When someone is into you, they're present, they're attentive, they're eager to delve into your thoughts and feelings. They make you feel valued and important. If she's constantly checking her phone while you're talking, interrupting you, or changing the subject to something more interesting to her, it's a sign that she's not fully present in the relationship. This behavior can be very telling. We all have moments where our attention wavers. But if her disengagement becomes a pattern, it's time to address the elephant in the room. Consistent lack of engagement is a serious issue. You deserve someone who's excited to connect with you on a deeper level, who values your thoughts and opinions, who makes you feel heard and seen. Don't settle for anything less. Finally, let's talk about the unspoken language of body language, because even when words fail, our bodies speak volumes. You see, attraction, connection, desire, these emotions manifest physically. So if her body language has changed, it's a sign that something's up. Remember how she used to lean in when you spoke, her body angled towards you, a subconscious way of closing the distance? Or how about the way she'd playfully touch your arm, her laughter flowing freely, her eyes sparkling with amusement? Now, contrast that with closed-off body language. Crossed arms, a stiff posture, avoiding eye contact. These are all subconscious ways of creating a barrier, signaling disinterest or discomfort. If you notice a consistent pattern of her pulling away physically, it's time to have a conversation. Don't ignore the silent signals your body is picking up on. So there you have it, guys. Keep an eye out for these signals, and don't ignore them. Remember, you deserve to be with someone who's excited to be with you, who cherishes your time together, and who makes you feel valued. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more relationship advice. See you next time.